All right, in this video, I'd like to talk about why not to keep your money in a savings account. Now, let me preface this by saying I don't think savings accounts are a bad thing. I think they're great for a short-term amount of time. So I want to work through an example and sort of give you an idea of what I mean by that. So let's say, for example, you've just received $5,000. Maybe it's an excess student loan, an inheritance, lottery, whatever it is. You just received $5,000 and you decide to do the responsible thing and put it away and save it for the future. Now, what is your money worth after sitting untouched in your savings account for 10 years? Now, I want to be specific. I want to point out why I use the specific word here, worth. What is your money worth after sitting untouched in your savings account after 10 years? Okay. So before we go into the calculations, I want you to think about what happens over time. Like what happens over the course of 10 years in terms of the cost of things? Well, the cost of things go up. Things cost more today than they costed 10 years ago, and they costed more 10 years ago than they cost 20 years ago. So as time moves on, the cost of everything we buy goes up. Tuition, books, clothes, food, whatever it is, shoes, everything, the prices of everything raises over time. Now the word for that, the gradual increase in the cost of goods and services, is called inflation. And inflation, historically, if we look at the last, 70, 80, 90 years, inflation has been about 3% per year. What that means is each year, on average, things cost about 3% more than they did the previous year. Now, some years it's more, some years it's less, but if we average it out over decades, we could expect about a 3% increase in the price of things. All right, so now let's look at what it would take 10 years from now to buy $5,000 worth of stuff. So, like, what $5,000 would buy today? What will that $5,000 cost 10 years from now? So for that, we'll use the formula for future value. Now, generally, inflation is calculated using the continuously compounded interest formula, but I'm going to use just the compound interest formula, compounded monthly, just align with savings accounts, because bank accounts are all compounded monthly. Okay, so we'll use this formula for, let's say, what $5,000 worth of stuff today will cost in 10 years. Worth of stuff will cost in 10 years. All right, so we're looking for the future value. So that's the unknown. Our principal value is 5,000, starting with 5,000. The annual interest rate, we're going to use inflation. So 3% or 0.03. And the amount of time is 10 years. And as I said, we're going to look at compounded monthly, compounded 12 times a year. Okay, so A equals 5,000, 1 plus R over N, so 0.03 over 12, to the power of N times T, or 12 times 10. Okay, so what this is going to give us is what a $5,000 price tag today will become 10 years from now, after we take into account inflation. All right, I'm going to use Desmos, as I use always, to calculate this. And I like Desmos because the way I have it written on paper, well, on my screen, is exactly the way we type it into Desmos. Okay, so 5,000 parenthesis 1 plus 0.03 over 12. Close the parenthesis, and we will raise that. Ooh, no. We'll raise that to the power 12 times 10. Okay. So $6,746, and if you round this to the nearest penny, 77 cents. All right, so let's put that here. $6,746.77. So what that means is just to break even, just to buy the same amount of stuff as you could today. So let's say you buy something for $5,000. In 10 years, you will need just over $6,700. Now, let's look at savings accounts. Now, I looked up the average interest rate that a bank will pay you nationally for a savings account. And what I saw was about 0.09%. Okay, so if we divide that by 100, our annual interest rate as a decimal would be 0.00009. Move the decimal point twice, or divide by 100. Okay, so we have the same starting value, the same time, the same number of compounds. So P, T, and N stay the same. The only thing that changes is the R, the interest rate. Okay, so what happens to your money? Not the cost of things, but what happens to your actual money? All right, let's bring Desmos back. And and Desmos is real nice. All I have to do here is replace the 0.03 with a 0.0009. So after earning that amazing interest rate of 0.09% annually, your $5,000 will grow to $5,045.20. $5,045.20. So what does this mean? This means you've actually lost $1,700. You could buy less things 10 years from now with your money than you could buy today. That's why in the original problem right here, I use the word not what is the dollar amount of your money, but what's your money worth? What can it buy? Well, if it sits in a savings account for 10 years, your money can buy less, a lot less in the future than it could buy today. So if you take the $6,746.77 and look at the difference between what you need and what you have. This is what you need to break even. That means so your money doesn't increase or decrease in value. For your money to be worth the same amount in 10 years, or to be able to buy the same amount of stuff 10 years from now, your $5,000 has to grow to $67.46.77. But in the savings account, it only grew to $5,045.20. That's what you have after 10 years. after 10 years. And if we look at the difference, that's a grand total of $1,701.57. And that is your net loss in value. So savings accounts are a good way to sort of partition your money on the short term, but when you start leaving money in a savings account for years, even though the bank is paying you interest, your money is losing value over time. Okay, and that's the point of what I wanted to, that's the point I wanted to make in this video. And you may say, okay, well, 0.09%, well, that's almost zero. That's almost nothing. So if I'm going to do that, maybe I might as well just stuff it in the mattress. Well, I'd advise against that as well. Maybe you've heard this story, maybe not, but there was a woman who wanted to do something nice for her mom and decided to buy her a new mattress while she was out. Took the old mattress, threw it away, had it picked up, it went to the dump. Brand new mattress in the house. Her mother comes home, freaks out. Apparently, for decades, she's been stuffing money into her mattress, about $1 million worth. And that was thrown out. So, the benefit of a savings account, it's insured. So if something happens, nothing could happen. If your money's in a bank, it's safe. So it's not going to, there's no way to lose it. Even if the bank goes under, if the bank goes bankrupt, it's still federally insured, but it's losing money. Okay, that does it for this video.